What's going on, guys? Today we're going to review a video by Paul Sugardino. It's basically what he eats in a day in 2026. So let's get into it.
This is what I eat in a day, 2026 edition. I'm going to show you guys everything I eat in a day. I'm going to take you through every gram of protein, fat, and carbohydrates. I'm going to be honest with you, I've added some new stuff to my diet recently that I'm going to show you in this video. Stuff that you might not expect me to eat, but I'm always trying to be healthier, I'm always trying to feel better, and I'm always trying to eat as varied a diet as possible while kicking as much butt as possible at the same time. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you the full calorie, macronutrient, and micronutrient breakdown of what I've eaten in this day. I'm going to tell you how many calories I ate total, how much protein, how much fat, how many carbohydrates, and show you all of the vitamins and minerals for what I eat in a day. So let's get into it. I'm going to begin by showing you what I eat first thing in the morning, right when I get up, before I go to surf. Let's go. First thing I do in the morning is I start with a glass of water. I have reverse osmosis water.
So right off the bat, reverse osmosis isn't optimal because, there's a lot of deuterium in the municipal water supply, and when you use reverse osmosis, you're not making the water structure lighter or heavier. So it's going to be very heavy drinking water. Also, reverse osmosis doesn't really get rid of any radioactive compounds, such as radon, or any haloacetites, for example. So if you are to drink water, just get a glass bottle of glacial water. It's going to be a lot lighter in structure, and have no heavy metals or any radioactive compounds whatsoever.
This is what I mix my creatine into. It's important that your creatine is pure, third-party tested, and there's a trick here that I want to show you guys. If you get bloating from creatine, make sure that your creatine is...
So with creatine supplementation, it essentially just throws off the synergy with taurine, glycine, methionine. You just essentially just eat an extra steak a day, and you'd probably get the same amount of creatine from supplementation. And you'd also be getting every other amino acid and nutrient in the correct ratio as well.
It's fully mixed. You don't want to be drinking gritty creatine at the bottom. You want enough water to mix 5 grams of creatine. You're going to need at least 300 mLs, or around 10.5, 11 ounces of water. And if the water is a warmer temperature, it will mix better. Most people have heard of creatine, but here's my quick creatine optimization protocol. 5 grams of creatine monohydrate daily from a third-party trusted source.
Yeah, you'd just be better off eating an additional steak a day.
Fully mix it in water. Make sure there's no gritty creatine at the bottom.
And it depends the quality of the water too. You're just gonna get more heavy water in your body.
What causes bloating? If you want your creatine to be better absorbed, you want to take it with carbohydrates, with 50 grams of honey or some fruit or some fruit juice. And the last thing, there is some evidence that shows that if you take creatine after a workout, that might improve its effectiveness slightly. It's not a big deal. In this case,
yeah, there's some truth to that.
I'm going to take my creatine before I surf. I'm not using this post-workout, but if you want to optimize, that's the fourth thing with creatine. Make sure, or at least try, see if creatine after your workout improves it. Never dry scoop creatine. Not a good thing for your gut and bloating. That's the worst way to do it. So what's in the smoothie? You got raw milk, frozen wild organic blueberries, grass.
Yeah, the raw milk is very good.
Fed whey protein from Oregon's raw organic glyphosate-free honey.
So I hate how he always goes on about his glyphosate-free honey. There's a lot more compounds in the honey than glyphosate that there are to be concerned about. You have atrazine, you have paraquat, you have 2,4-D, simazine as well. There's so many different more compounds than glyphosate that are sprayed on the crops, like herbicides. You have miticides as well that are sprayed. It's all just a marketing ploy to just say there's one missing compound. My honey's glyphosate free, but there's 20 other compounds that are just sprayed. So I don't know. You'd have to look at the full certificate of analysis.
I'm gonna put a pinch of sea salt in the smoothie, and that's what I do. So I mix it all up in the blender. I've got the stainless steel attachment from Vitamix to minimize plastics, and that is what I drink pre-surf. And you might look at this and say, man, Paul, there's a lot of products there that you sell.
Man, Paul, that's a lot of products you sell.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I built these products, because I actually use them every day. I wanted to get good quality organs, because it's hard to get testicle and liver sometimes. So I've got heart and soil whole package. There was such a problem with whey protein on the market. They were all contaminated, full of artificial sweeteners, artificial flavors, things that I didn't want in a whey protein.
Yes, so you shouldn't be eating it.
They were full of lecithin and binders and gums. I didn't want any of that stuff. So really proud of this one that we made at Heart and Soil, the grass-fed whey protein. It's definitely the highest quality whey protein we could find anywhere. And then when it comes to honey, I don't want extra pesticides in my honey. So I'm proud of our glyphosate-free raw.
Congrats, you eliminated one compound. And then there's like 20 more.
Honey at Lineage. So yeah, of course I use the products that we sell because that's why we built them. So that's my smoothie, and then it's off to surf. You can probably see here that as I'm putting stuff in the smoothie, there is a very noticeable, large stainless steel coffee machine in the background. It's not my coffee machine, although if you're gonna drink coffee, the Lineage Regen Roast is hands down the best of
Yeah, and of course he sells it too.
I've ever seen. It's organic, it's regenerative, it's shade grown, whatever. This coffee machine is actually my girlfriend's because she drinks coffee. So don't think I'm cheating and not telling you guys about my coffee. Nope, that's not mine, that's hers.
That's a lot of honey.
This may look like a lot of fruit, but I'm pretty hungry when I get back from surfing. I've been out there for a few hours. Most of the time, this second breakfast is eaten around 10 a.m. for me, so I've been up for a while. I usually get up around 5 or 5:30. I get out to surf by 6, 6:30. I'm in the water for a couple hours, so I'm getting the calories in. And no, I don't worry about fructose or fruit causing diabetes. There's absolutely no evidence for that. In fact, there's evidence to the contrary. All sorts of fruits and fruit.
Yeah, but what if you already have diabetes?
Juices improve endothelial function, decrease oxidative stress in the human body, improve DNA repair. So I think fruit is a healthy thing when it's eaten in proportion to your activity level. I'm definitely thinking about organic cantaloupe. Glyphosate is a huge problem, the pesticide. Over $11 billion in lawsuits against Bayer Monsanto, the makers of Roundup, glyphosate, that are alleging that glyphosate is connected with cancer. So I'm looking for organic food. Obviously, I would urge you guys to do the same. What you invest in your food, I think, is the biggest return on investment you can get out of anything. Buying higher quality food is going to cost you more, but you're supporting farmers that make higher quality things that support you and your family and your health long term. Not being healthy is the worst thing in the world. What's the point of having more money if you're not healthy enough to enjoy it? Also carbohydrates, I've got yucca. I've been experimenting with different carbohydrate sources. So at the beginning of this video, I told you there were a couple of things in the video that were new for me. One of the things I've been experimenting with recently are starches. And a lot of them didn't.
Yeah, potatoes are a great source of carbohydrates. I mean, given that you are, peeling the skin off and getting it from like a regenerative farm, you're not really going to have that much of an anti-nutrient concern.
Worked for me. The whole reason I got started on this health journey was that my eczema and asthma were problematic for me. And doing a carnivore diet originally helped reverse a lot of the.
He shouldn't be cooking that on a grill. It's going to create way too many heterocyclic amines.
Those things. Being keto on a carnivore diet didn't work for my body. I had electrolyte insufficiency and felt generally horrible. In the beginning it was great, then it went downhill at the end. So I feel better with carbohydrates. For most of the last 4.5 years, I've eaten exclusively fruit for carbohydrates, fruit and squash. Squash is technically a fruit. There's a lot of bioindividuality in who we are as humans. We don't all react the same way to certain foods. I tend to have a very sensitive immune system, which means that I don't react well to all.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. I mean, everyone has different genetics, different heritage, different like food intolerances. Asians are generally good at digesting rice better than Americans. Russians are generally good at drinking vodka, alcohol, more than Asians, and Americans. Like, it really depends on like what your genetics are and ancestral traits are as well.
Foods. I know I don't do well with tomatoes, for instance, which are a fruit, because they're a nightshade. white rice, I don't feel good on white rice. It makes me feel kind of foggy, a little bit bloated. And when I look at the health profile of rice, it's very hard to eliminate the arsenic, the heavy metals in rice. So then I've landed on yucca.
You can definitely eliminate a lot of the arsenic. You can just germinate the rice, you know, keep it soaked for like 2 or 3 days at a time, rotate the water, cook it in glacial water, spring water, artesian water. You can get the rice from a regenerative farm. You know, Ludenberg Farm is really good. I think they like measured their arsenic content. It's a lot lower.
Which is easy to get here in Costa Rica. If you've never seen this root, it looks like a big brown root. Maybe it looks like a big poo. You have to.
Yeah, yucca is not good when you look at it from like a nutrient perspective. It contains a lot of cyanogenic glycosides, and it has to be prepared in a very special way, or else you run the risk of, you know, getting cyanide poisoning over time, which isn't. It's pretty counterintuitive to nutrition.
Prepare it in a certain way. You can't just eat yucca raw because it does have cyanide.
And it's way more dangerous long term to be consuming yucca than, you know, like a nice regeneratively farmed rice, you know, that's like germinated, soaked.
And cyanide containing compounds in the skin. So to make this yucca.
And you're not consuming these for nutrients, you're consuming it for carbohydrates and energy.
I had to cut the yucca up, I had to peel the yucca, I have to boil the yucca, and then I have to pull out, there's a little spine in the middle of the yucca.
Yeah, like that's way too much. No one's gonna do that every single day just to get carbohydrates in the diet.
Woody spine that I have to pull out. It's a lot of work to get to.
And then over time you run the risk of cutting corners and getting lazy with it, and then next thing you know you're getting like cyanide poisoning symptoms.
But it's worth it for me. I've experimented, like I said, with multiple starches. I even tried sourdough, guys, and I think it's triggering to my immune system. I tried fermented oats. So I've been trying to incorporate more foods in my diet. The whole point of being healthy is to eat good foods and to feel good, but to have as varied and interesting a diet as you can possibly have. So
yeah, that's definitely great. The more variety of things you have, like the more nutrients you have overall.
I'm not trying to limit myself. I'm not trying to be dogmatic. I let that all go many years ago when I stopped being a strict carnivore.
I should say the more biodiverse nutrients you have overall.
But I am trying to understand what works best for my body. Again, what works best for me may not work well for you, but maybe there are some of you watching who do have food sensitivities and will find value in that. So I don't think all, even single ingredient foods work for all people. Figure out what works for you on the carbohydrate side. Maybe it's just fruit and squash. Maybe you can do potatoes. Maybe cassava is better. Maybe sweet potatoes work for you. Maybe you're not as sensitive as I am to oxalates. I've got about 5.5 ounces, maybe 6 ounces of a grass-fed skirt steak here, and I cooked it on the grill. I've got some.
Yeah, you shouldn't be cooking it on the grill. Way too many heterocyclamines are going to be formed, as well as the polycyclic hydrocarbons. If you're going to cook it, you should be cooking it on a ceramic pan.
Sea salt on there. When it comes to salt, I think a lot about salts. We did a whole collaboration with the ABNRF.
Or even just like broiling the meats instead is going to reduce the AGE content.
The Animal-Based Nutrition Research Foundation separately, where we tested heavy metals in many salts, and we were surprised to find that a lot of common, popular salts.
Yeah, and every salt is going to contain some degree of like heavy metals and microplastics to an extent. Like, I don't think those salts are accurately tested, because I can cherry pick, you know, a batch of salt, send it off to a laboratory that can, you know, that's known for containing heavy metals, and you know, if I just pick the right batch of salt, then it's obviously going to contain ND. It's going to come back as ND.
Especially popular salts in health communities had significant amounts of heavy metals. I don't have any affiliation with Diamond Kosher or Maldon, but these salts both tested to have no significant heavy metals.
Just send it off to a laboratory until it comes back as ND.
So Diamond Kosher is cheap, and I can get it easily. I bring big boxes.
And you don't even need salt in the diet as well. Like, just get your electrolytes, I don't know, for free, I guess.
Costa Rica, so that's what's on there, is a Diamond Kosher salt. I'm thinking about toxins in my food and trying to eliminate those as much as possible. This may not look like the most visually appealing breakfast, but man, this is a very nutrient-rich breakfast, and I'm trying to have high nutrients, low tox.
I like how you said high nutrients and you point at the thing that doesn't really have any nutrients in it. Just a bunch of sugar, electrolytes.
and high digestibility. Now it's time to eat my second breakfast, and then we'll get on with the day. And next will be a little mid-afternoon snack.
Yeah, I mean, that meal isn't too terrible. Like the skirt steak is gonna have like a lot of bioavailable nutrients. Iron in the heme iron form, a lot of B vitamins, a lot of protein, amino acids. Like it's not a bad meal. It's just way too much fruit. Like I would cut the amount of fruit, I don't know, at least by half.
And I'm continuing to add up the macros for everything. If you stick around till the end of the video, I'll show you the macros and the micronutrients.
And if you're going to consume them together, it's going to create a lot of glycation. I mean, more so with honey. Like if you're just pouring honey directly on top of your meat, that's going to create a lot of glycation. I mean, if you're going to consume them, you should be consuming them like in different time frames, not in the same meal.
Nutrient breakdown for my entire day. So what do I have in the afternoon commonly? I've got something like raw Greek yogurt, and I put in some banana. I've got a duck egg yolk in there. You think it's
Gosh, that's so much sugar.
Gross, but it's actually amazing. And I put a little bit of the lineage honey.
Oh, there we go. That's carrying the entire meal right now. The egg yolk. It's pretty much containing every single nutrient.
And if I want a little extra protein, I'll get a few of the meat sticks from Lineage. At this point in the day, some people comment, oh, you're eating a lot of sugar.
Yeah, you are.
Well, yes and no. Here's the deal. Processed sugar, stripped naked sucrose, causes dysbiosis at the level of your gut. Overgrowth, especially of gram-negative bacteria, leads to increase in something called lipopolysaccharide or endotoxin. That seeps into your bloodstream, and the resulting inflammation from increased levels of LPS can add fuel to the fire of metabolic dysfunction and insulin resistance. Honey doesn't do that. Fruit doesn't do that. So the bananas in here, the cantaloupe I had at breakfast, the fruit that I'll have at dinner, these do not fuel obesity. They do not fuel diabetes. They do not fuel insulin resistance. There's absolutely zero, read my lips, zero evidence that fruit leads to diabetes. In fact,
yeah, I mean, he's absolutely right to an extent, but what if you already have insulin resistance? What if you already have diabetes?
There's lots of good evidence that fruit, even fruit juices, are healthy.
Like, it's the processed food, it's the seed oils that are causing these issues. But, once you're already at that point, there's only so much you could do to get back to a normal functionality.
Healthy for humans. Obviously, you should eat carbohydrates in proportion to your activity level, and I'm an active human. As you'll see coming up at the end of this video, I'm going to show you all my calories. I'm consuming a lot of carbohydrates, but remember, I also surfed for 2 hours this morning, and I'm going to get a workout this afternoon between my midday work session and my end of the day work session in the gym. I'm going to go ahead and eat this. I'm going to get a little quick workout in the gym. I might get a little work done, and then I'm going to come back and show you guys what I eat for dinner. Okay, it's right about 5 p.m. I go to sleep really early in Costa Rica, so I like to eat at least 2 to 3 hours before I go to sleep. So now it's dinner time. I'm going to finish eating by around 5:30. And yes, I will probably be in bed by 8:30 tonight because I get up around 5 a.m. or 5:30 to go surf. So,
yeah, that's definitely a great thing. When you watch the sunset, you're getting a lot of red light in your eyes, which signals to the body that it's time to go to sleep, which is naturally good for your circadian rhythm. And if he's waking up that early, in Costa Rica, he's going to get the natural sunrise, which is going to set his biological clock. That's super nice.
So what do I have here for dinner? I've got some grass-fed ground beef from the same local farm. Steak is amazing, but
he's pouring the honey on the beef. It's going to cause a lot of glycation.
Eating steak every day, even I don't want to do that. I want to get some, mix it up, and it's nice to have.
And it's even worse that he's cooking this meat on a grill. Like, you're going to cause so much heterocyclic amine formation. And dude, just cook it on a ceramic stove, or a ceramic pan, just have it on half of the heat you normally would.
Have something that's a cheaper option. So we got grass-fed ground beef here. I've got a little bit of the same Lineage honey on it, and I've got some salt. Meat is an incredible source of nutrients, guys, and I want to say something here. I believe that red meat, grass-fed ruminant animals, cows, bison, elk, antelope, deer, these are the single best source, the cleanest source of protein for humans on the planet today, hands down. Period T, end of story, full stop.
Yeah, he's absolutely right.
One of the reasons I like whey protein because it's very high in an amino acid called leucine.
Another advertisement.
I think that a lot of people, men, but especially women, are leaving muscle growth, leanness, higher metabolism, ease of weight loss on the table by not getting enough leucine throughout the day. What am I talking about? If you hit the leucine threshold, for most people it's about 2.5 grams of leucine in a meal, you stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Even without lifting weights, you can stimulate muscle protein synthesis by getting enough leucine, by eclipsing the leucine threshold. Conversely, I think there's a big problem for a lot of people, men and women, that a lot of us are not eclipsing the leucine threshold on a daily basis and a single meal. At multiple meals a day, I'm thinking about stacking my protein throughout the day so that I'm getting 2.5 grams of leucine. 30 grams of whey protein gives you 2.5 grams of leucine. As you'll see with my breakfast, I'm gonna have enough protein to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. And at dinner, I'll have enough protein, enough leucine containing animal proteins to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. So if you want to have an easier time losing weight, gaining muscle, or keeping muscle, make sure you're eclipsing the leucine threshold multiple times a day. My mother is 75 years old, right? How many times a day does my mother get 2.5 grams of leucine in a meal? Very rarely. So ladies, I'm talking to you. If you want leanness, if you want some musculature, you won't look like a bodybuilder, if you want ease of weight loss, make sure you're getting at least one meal a day where you're getting enough animal protein, 30 to 40 to 50 grams of animal protein, or whey protein, which is very high in leucine, to eclipse the leucine threshold to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. If you're missing that, you're missing a big piece of this. Got a little bit of liver here. I love eating some organs. You don't have to eat
Oh yeah, let's go. Finally, some actual nutrients in the diet.
a ton. The heart and soil whole package I have with breakfast helps, and I got a little bit of raw liver. It's like an ounce. I'll do it a few nights a week to get the extra organ multivitamin. Got a glass of raw milk from a local farm.
There we go.
I've been to the farm that makes this raw milk.
You see, this is where the actual nutrients come from. Eating raw food in its natural form, you know, from an animal in its most bioavailable nutrient form.
I've seen the cows, I've seen the goats, and I know that
That's
it's all
good.
clean, which is amazing.
Yeah, when you definitely source these foods, you want to make sure you actually visit the farm first, see their sanitation practices, see their farming practices. You know, they're not advertising their stuff as grass fed, and then, you know, they have like a big bag of like grain slop on the side. And you also want to see like, what are they cleaning their facilities with? Are they Amish, but they're cleaning their facilities with like bleach, you know?
Back here I've got some yucca. I'm doing it twice a day now because I feel better with the
Dude, you got to get rid of the yucca.
calories. I got some
If you were to just replace the yucca with like a regenerative germinated rice, that would be infinitely better than having yucca. Also, you know, just like skinned potatoes.
grass-fed butter on it. I've got some watermelon here for some fruit at dinner, which is going to be...
Yeah, watermelon isn't too bad. It's not going to have a whole lot of sugar. It also has like some great compounds like nitric oxide. It's going to increase the blood flow.
refreshing at the end of a hot day in Costa Rica. And then we got some asparagus. Yeah, asparagus.
So asparagus is going to be pretty high in diuretics. I mean, if he's eating that every single day and also like drinking a lot of reverse osmosis water that doesn't really have the electrolytes and like a synergistic balance, he's gonna end up depleting himself of like electrolytes over time. That's just my personal opinion.
I bet you guys didn't expect to see anything green on my plate, but like I said earlier in the video, I've been experimenting with a few new foods, and I feel pretty decent with asparagus. It's nice to get some variety, different flavors.
I'm pretty sure asparagus has a lot of anti-nutrients in it as well. But the main concern is obviously going to be the diuretic effect on the body and the electrolyte depletion over time.
And so I'm open to incorporating a few vegetables, I guess technically yucca is a vegetable as well, into my diet as long as I feel good with them. This is what I've got for dinner tonight. So at the beginning of this video, I promised you that at the end of this day of eating, I would show you my macros, my calories, and my micronutrients. Let's get into the calories, the macros, and the micronutrients. I got 3,107.
Yeah, and I'm going to skip this part just because chronometer's not entirely accurate. It's all pretty much just pseudoscience over here.
That's what Food for Humans is. So that's my calorie, macronutrient, and micronutrient breakdown of what I eat in a day. And I took you guys through everything I did this day. I hope that helps. The goal of this video is not to give you a blueprint to copy and paste. I don't think everyone needs to eat like me, but the goal is to help you think about the first principles that I use to determine what I'm going to eat in a day. Right now, I feel really good in my life. My autoimmune symptoms are basically non-existent. My sleep is good. My libido is good. My workouts are good. I feel good throughout the day. I have good mental clarity throughout the day. I'm productive. So I'm in a good place. That's what I want for all of you. If you guys want more help.
Yeah, so overall, like, this is pretty A tier in terms of like what the average American does on a daily basis and their average diet. I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, it's just like he's a multi-millionaire. He has a literal research foundation, and he's ignoring these basic fundamental concepts like the reverse osmosis water. It's going to be high in deuterium. Just drink glass bottled glacial water instead. I'm pretty sure he has a video on it where he says that it's the best to drink, but he doesn't do it. Also, like the creatine supplementation, dude, just eat like another steak every single day. You'll get every other nutrient in its correct bioavailable form in the correct ratios. You know, when you just supplement one nutrient in the diet, you're going to cause a deficiency in the others. Like, it's not like every single nutritionist knows this. Also, like the glyphosate free honey, sure, whatever. Like, props to him for getting the pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, insecticides out of the honey, but also at the same time, like, there's a lot more compounds, like atrazine, for example, and just, you know, so many more. I mean, yeah, I mean, the meals weren't too bad, just a lot of sugar and a lot of glycation is going to occur. You know, the egg yolk that he put in the yogurt, that's pretty A tier, contained every single nutrient. Also, like the liver, the raw milk, and the watermelon wasn't too bad. Grass-fed beef, definitely A tier. And that's where the majority of the nutrients are coming in the diet. Yeah, and in terms of like the yucca, I would definitely be concerned about the yucca and the asparagus causing deficiencies or like poisoning long term. Like, you don't want to eat anything with cyanide in it, you know. Yeah, I mean, not too bad. Like, he's definitely active. He lives in a good environment. And, you know, if the average person was living in Costa Rica, they'd already be twice as healthy, maybe like 3 times as healthy as they are right now. They're like surfing, waking up for the sunrise, sunset. Like, yeah, he's living a pretty good lifestyle. But I think the diet and the water can use some work. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for me.